Images roll past on a screen, holding memories I will always reflect on. As I look at the variety of pictures and look into the young face that is now the one I see in reflection, it reminds me of the common theme I live and breathe every single day of my life. I am truly blessed to be who I am. My life is far from perfect, and to be honest, it seems like I face a lot more lows than highs. But even with that being said, I still feel truly grateful to live this life I live. You see, I believe that disappointments and adversities are good things. They teach you, make you stronger, give you a fear that motivates you to do whatever you can to avoid that happening again, and ultimately just makes you want to appreciate the good days that much more. In my life, there are so many reminders every day as to why struggling can be positive rather than negative, starting with one of my biggest role models, my mom. Ever since I was a little dude, running around some light-up sneaks, to now, as I'm nearing the end of high school, my mom has always been there. She has taught me one of the most valuable lessons I could ever learn: perseverance. My mom wakes up in the morning with one goal, and that's providing for my sister, my brother, and me. Despite the long work hours, despite the numerous requests for food or new clothes, she still puts her family's needs over her own. My mom faces the struggle of having to be able to provide for 3 kids every single day. As silly as this sounds, through my mom struggling, I've learned one of the most valuable lessons I could have ever learned, and that is just one of the examples of how struggling can be used as a positive rather than a negative. As I look throughout my life, my health has led me to many struggles as well. During the summer going into my senior year of high school, I found myself tired all the time, almost as if school hadn't ended. I found myself being able to sleep in for 11, 12, and even on one day, 13 hours and still waking up somewhat sluggish and even being able to go back to sleep. I was confused and also very concerned. I found out that I have a minor case of chronic fatigue syndrome and continued to find myself sleepy even after a long night's sleep. To make this adversity even harder, I had to listen to people try to downplay this illness with things like, "Well, you're just a growing teenager," or "Just try to get some more sleep than you already do." Hearing stuff like that scared me a little bit, to be honest. As a matter of fact, I was getting more sleep than I ever really had for a long time. One of the symptoms of chronic fatigue is extreme fatigue, and when it hits, you feel such a strong urge to call it a night, no matter what time of the day it is. So I found myself getting near to 10 hours of sleep and still waking up sluggish. Rather than letting this struggle affect me, though, I used it as a positive, as I realized how I should never take such fundamental things like sleep for granted. I also believe that through this, I've gained a sense of mental toughness that I would not have ever found without this struggle. Sure, at times, waking up after 12 hours of sleep and still feeling sleepy can be difficult, and especially with football, it doesn't make going through this easier. But to me, this whole experience has been a tremendous character builder, and again, this is a great example of how negatives, struggles, and difficulties can be blessings in disguise. Even to this day, as with everyone, I still face many adversities. Whether it be the difficulty to maintain good grades at Liberty, or people doubting me as a football player, thinking that I will never be able to contribute to the team in the ways that I hope to, and even sometimes me doubting myself and my abilities. Though at times, it is definitely hard to hear words like scrub or bench warmer be tossed around. Now, I almost welcome those comments, because comments like those drive me to work harder every time I step foot on the field, thus showing why negatives and adversity can be used for positives. With those comments in my mind, I am driven to prove them wrong, and it wouldn't be without that struggle that I have this drive. As I reflect on my life to this day, I remember all the various struggles I've faced, and as I remember these, I think how lucky I was to face these struggles, because they made me who I am today. Without those adversities I faced, I have no idea if I would be the same person. I encourage you, whenever you find yourself struggling, rather than letting that struggle be a negative, let it be a positive. I know that sounds silly, and at times it can be hard to find the good in a hard situation, but rather than letting the adversity beat you, let it mold you, let it make you stronger. Let it give you the fear to motivate you that you never want something like that to happen again. I know this sounds silly, but I feel truly blessed to have faced the adversities I've faced throughout my life, and the ones that await me in the future, because like the ones I've faced so far in my life, they will continue to make me a better person.